Hello, and welcome to An Argument. Ever since Shifting Lanes sold our Aston Martin, the topic of best or fastest car in our fleet has come up for discussion. I maintain that is my 2008 Volvo C30. She's small, she's nimble, she makes an impressive amount of power. However, my esteemed colleague over there disagrees.
As you know, Chad is wrong about pretty much everything he ever says. This is the best car in the Shifting Lanes fleet because, well, I owned the Aston Martin and I owned the V70R, and we sold the Aston Martin for a reason, because this car is incredible. It's the enthusiast's dream. We have a manual wagon, rare, with an amazing color combination and an impressive amount of power as well that can be tuned out to a ton more. So what's not to like here? I believe this car, the 2005 Volvo V70R, is the best one in the Shifting Lanes fleet, and not Chad's C30.
See, you make some very good and fair I mean, you're wrong, but you make some good points. To teach Greg just how wrong he actually is, I'm gonna let him drive the C30 and try and convert him from, wagon to a true sports hatch.
Now that's a really interesting point, because this car is very similar to Hanson's S60R. It's just
can we
the
just
wagon.
agree? Can we just agree that his is the worst?
Well, he isn't here, so obviously his is by default the worst.
Oh, okay.
But I know how his car drives, essentially.
Yeah.
This is the wagon version of his car. I've never actually driven the C30, so I think it's time for me to get behind the wheel and see if this little hot hatch really is as good as you say it is.
All right, let's go for a drive.
All right.
Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to Shifting Lanes. My name's Chad. That's Gregson.
Yeah.
And today we're teaching him about the superiority of our little C30. So let's get to it.
Yeah. So right off the bat, as I'm sitting here for the first time, the clutch is very long. The clutch pedal itself is very long, and trying to adjust here, it's tough to get a good driving position for me. That thing is suited very well to me, and when I say that thing, I'm pointing at my V70R, which you just saw. The boost gauge and the bezel looks really nice. The layout in here is pretty sparse, but it's comfy. It's small, compact, little hot hatch. It feels a lot like my old WRX, to be honest with you. It's very, it feels like it's a very similar platform, a little bit more narrow, but on a similar plane.
Yeah, I mean, it does everything. I mean, stereo's good. You have an auxiliary port back here.
Throws seem interesting.
They're a little long, and it's a little.
They're very long. It's like shifting like a tiny little truck.
Right.
It feels like shifting an old like '90s taco.
Yeah.
And by taco I mean Toyota Tacoma, not a delicious taco.
Yeah, it's one of the things I'd like to address. Finding short throw kits is not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
There's a couple torque mounts that I can replace that'll like crisp up the shifting a little bit, but yeah, it's a bit of a throw, but the only thing really now is for you to, stall, then go for a drive.
Yeah, let's go. Let's see how this thing goes. Oh, God. Wow, the clutch engagement is like a millimeter off the ground. Holy crap. That is so different from the V70R, which has the biggest sweet spot of any car I've ever driven. It has a sweet spot of at least 2 full inches, and the engagement point isn't for a full inch to inch and a half off the ground. So yeah, no doubt why you thought I was gonna stall that, because
I was trying to hack to get you to stall.
Well, I mean, so the ride's we're going over just like a little rough road coming out of a park by us. The ride is a little rough on this road, but it is in the V70R too. It doesn't feel like the tires and wheels have really diminished ride quality at all. The tires feel beefy. Like I can just tell. Even just going straight in a line, going 20 miles an hour, I can tell that the tires have been upgraded.
Yeah, well, to give you guys, so for anyone who hasn't seen my video when I put the new rims and tires on here, you have 245 40s on this car, which weighs a significant chunk less than your V70R, but yet has the exact same size tire.
Right, yeah, so that's very, very interesting. Yeah, there seems to be, all right, I mean, there's definitely about an inch of a dead spot in the middle of the steering.
I should explain that with like things like the steering, it's not tracking 100% true because this car does need an alignment, but I'm waiting to do the alignment until after I put all of the awesome new suspension goodies on the car, just so I don't have to pay for things twice.
Yeah, it's a good call.
And the tires I have on here, like not getting alignment leads to a little bit of uneven tire wear. I'm completely okay with it because these tires are 100% disposable. So feel free to abuse them.
Outstanding. Good call. All right, so nothing but Hellcat burnouts. Done. All right, let's check out some handling characteristics. Very nice. Planted.
Yeah, she's definitely a little planted. I don't know if you could feel it. There's a little bit of like roll in the rear.
Yeah, there definitely is. This thing could probably use some upgraded either chassis bracing or anti-roll bar, which is also more commonly known as a sway bar. I think if you do either one of those things or both of those things, you're going to have a much flatter experience.
Well, funny you should say that. Both of those are on my list.
Nice.
Probably the next thing you see me do to this car will be something suspension related. So I do have a chassis brace on the way.
Yep.
I do have coilovers on the way, and I do have to crawl underneath the car to figure out which sway bar to get, because apparently there's like 3 different options as far as how you mount them back there, and it depends on the year of your car.
Got it.
So I have to crawl underneath there to figure that out. But yeah, probably the next time you drive this car, the rear is going to be completely different.
Nice.
Completely planted.
She's quick. She's quick. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, so
It's definitely interesting. It's good to actually drive a properly sorted car again, because that thing, I love the V70R. It's such a great car, but the problem is I still have the boost spike issue in my car. So going wide open throttle, there's nothing to really have there.
Right.
It goes brrr and immediately drops it back down. It's spiking to like 23 psi, which shouldn't happen, and going back down. This is very linear with a little bit of turbo kick, which is super, super nice.
So what you're saying is that this car is well sorted, so job done, it's better.
Well, as of now.
Like I have an exhaust, I have an intake, and I have a front mount.
Yeah.
I don't even think you have a front mount.
No, not yet. I will though. Whoa, torque steer. Holy torque steer. Wow. It's grabby though. It's not bad.
Not bad when you consider that this thing has an open diff too.
Yeah. Chatter. All right, in just those turns I can tell exactly what's going on. Tons of torque steer. There's a lot of chatter as you're going through the turns. The tires need to be a little bit grabbier, but this is 32-degree weather with some summer tires, so once it gets warmer out, it'll be a lot stickier. The handling aspects feel good. There's not a ton of body roll. There's definitely a little, as you said.
Yep.
But I think it's definitely a more planted car than the V70R in that respect, because of how much less it weighs, because of how much smaller it is. The rear end of that car can be a little strange because the all-wheel drive system is not working. So essentially, we're comparing 2 front-wheel drive cars here. But
so wait, hold on, you have boost spike.
Yes.
The all-wheel drive doesn't work.
Yes.
I mean, come on, man.
It's I know. Well, the car's not sorted yet. We're trying to get a bunch of different things done at the same time. The power is good. It's definitely transitioning to the front wheels in some way, but it's definitely a lot more power than this car is used to stock. So I'm feeling a lot of chatter when I'm putting my foot down.
Yeah.
The car seems very well sorted. For a 140,000 mile car, it does not feel like a 140,000 mile car. It feels like a 60 or maybe even 50,000 mile car. There are no rattles in here. There's zero rattles in here. This thing it feels like it's put together with like concrete and rivets, as opposed to mine, which is bubble gum and rubber bands, which is insane.
So another point for the C30.
So this car is definitely at the moment better sorted mechanically, and just I think the build quality is overall better. It feels like a better car as we sit today, because of the issues that car has. But I think when everything's said and done, the V70R will be the better car overall because of the room it has, because of the sound it has. I think this car doesn't sound as good as the V70R. Just because that engine with that exhaust is just like a magical combination. This car does sound good, don't get me wrong. The elevate parts that you put on the exhaust, the mid-pipe, the downpipe, all that, they do sound really, really nice.
I will, in some small way, begrudgingly give you the fact that those sound a little bit better, but I think it's a point of preference.
Wow, we just went over so much pavement and there's not a single freaking rattle. I hate you so much for that. Because every time I go over something like that, it feels like my car is going to not explode, but implode on itself like a freaking neutron star. What you've done to this car, I think it really brings out how this platform can really kind of take off.
Of this platform.
Yeah, exactly. The potential is really, really nice. You know, I can see why this shared everything with the Focus RS in Europe of its same generation, because it's just a really well made, sorted, and feeling car. Like the handling characteristics are good. The chassis feels really nice. I would even compare it to, we're trying to beat a Civic Type R with this. I would even compare it to the new Civic Type R chassis. Everything feels really, really well mated to how the car is made. And the Civic Type R, the new Civic platform, I feel is one of the biggest world-beating platforms out there right now. I feel like this is on that same echelon as far as chassis dynamics is concerned.
So, you've driven both now.
Yeah.
How close do you think we are?
I think you're winning right now because of my boost spike issue.
I wasn't talking about your car.
Oh.
You've driven both the Type R and this car.
Oh! Sorry, I have a V70R on the brain.
You were literally just talking about a Civic Type R like 30 seconds ago.
You know, I think you still got a ways to go. I think that handling-wise, you're actually closer than the power, which is probably not what you thought I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I think you have done not enough, but I think you've done a better job. Well, I guess not a better job, but I think handling wise you're closer. We'll just leave it at that. And for power right now, because the way that the Civic Type R gathers power, it's very quick. Like, you know, it feels like it has more than 300 horsepower. This feels like it has 225, 230 horsepower, which I think was what you had the last tune. We had 221 on the dyno.
Last time we were at the dyno, we were pushing 230 horse, 300 torque.
Yeah, so you can definitely tell this is a torquey car.
Apparently, I have a diesel. Back to the reason why we're here.
Sure.
So I'm going to hit you with some rapid fire questions.
All right, I'm going to roll my sleeves up.
Greg, getting to work.
Go.
Number one.
Yes.
C30 versus V70R. Which one handles better?
Right now, the C30 does.
Okay. As far as the butt dyno is concerned, which one's faster?
That's still faster, I think. Even at about 15 PSI, if you put it like 3/4 throttle, I still think that's faster. And with working all-wheel drive, that's going to absolutely destroy this car. But as it stands, I still think that's a little fast. It feels, at least it feels butt dyno-wise a little faster.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
It feels a little
We're not
faster.
using science today. Okay. Power delivery and just overall throttle pedal. How does that feel?
This is definitely better than that because that has old school turbo written all over it. You floor it and you get the and then it like hits you in the face.
Yeah.
This is a much more linear delivery than that, for sure.
Okay. I'm not even going to let you answer this. Interior, you win.
Yes, because that interior is awesome.
He also cares about it.
That's also true.
I have some interior. It's not on the same level as my M3.
An interior.
It's not on the same level as my M3 was. So I'm happy about it.
That was an absolute cluster.
I'm happy about it. Like, the point of this car is not like, as long as it doesn't attack me with scissors, I'm okay with it. So,
Yeah,
like,
it's
so
not a bad place to be.
different way. Exterior, which one looks better?
Oh God, that by like 1,000 times.
Since driving this car and kind of getting more acquainted to it, is there anything in this car that surprised you that was way better than you thought it was going to be?
The whole car surprised me. I want one. This thing is great. It's it's compact. It feels hot hatchy. You can pick one of these up for what we did $5,800.
$52
or $5,200. Sorry, we picked this up for $5,200. If you have a $10,000 budget, like you can basically pick one of these up, do a whole bunch of mods, and have an amazing car for like 10 grand. And not try to beat a Civic Type R, but
just have a really fun car.
I really like this car. I would definitely buy this thing. This thing's great, and there's the back seat's a lot bigger than I thought it was. This is a nice little shooting brake. I like it.
Yeah, they're not long for this world, but anyway. Yeah. All right, so let's say we wrap this up.
Yeah, let's go outside and let's argue, because I have one question for you that I think might spur a nice little argument.
Yes, you look like an ass.
Noted. So, I have finally driven the C30. I feel like I've driven all of the Shifting Lanes cars. You just heard it. Basically, Chad and I were talking about this car versus that car. I still feel like I have the best one overall in the fleet. You probably disagree. You probably think this is the best.
I mean, as they sit right now, you yourself said this is the more sorted car.
Yes, but
your words, not.
But does that necessarily make it better? To me, no, because I would much rather drive home in that than this every day.
Oh, a partial throttle, no all-wheel drive.
Yeah, because that's got like unending character. I mean, look back at all like the Top Gear challenges from days of yesteryear and all like the Grand Tour stuff and even new Top Gear. When they do challenges, the one that's the worst always ends up being the best. And I think that's the case for the V70R.
You almost let it slip out of the bet. You said the worst is the best. The worst is Hansen's car.
Well, yes. In this comparison, your car is better as it stands. It's more planted. It feels better.
Everything works.
Everything works. Everything's well sorted. I mean, everything actually does work in that car electronically, but the car itself, like
boost control
and front wheel drive only, like that stuff doesn't work. But inside, everything works. Your interior is a lot more. It feels like a better build quality. But at the end of the day, I want that.
All right. Well, I didn't necessarily think I was going to sway you off of that. Yeah. But I think after driving this, you have a newfound respect for this car.
I do, and not just this car, but this whole platform. I think the whole platform is really, really good. As I said, as we were driving, there's a reason why the Focus RS and this shared basically almost every component you can think of that really matters. This thing is definitely a world beater if you can pick one up for cheap and throw a couple grand at it. I guess the question is, if I had 10 grand and was gonna go buy something to like tweak on it, this should be in your top 5 without question. You really, really should check it out because I think it's gonna surprise you. Maybe not stock, but once you put some stuff into it, I think it's a really, really nice platforming car.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, good choice, but I'm still gonna whoop your ass.
Doubtful.
I don't think so. So, my question to you as we were getting out of the car is, are you happy with your purchase?
Yes. So, to kind of go back a little bit, before this I had the Lexus. And when I had the Lexus for almost 10 years, there wasn't really a scenario where you could have gotten me off the Lexus. I wanted that thing to be a project, and I wanted to take that thing from the way it's set all the way to, 700-800 horsepower, just monster.
Right.
You probably couldn't have convinced me to sell that car unless, because at Shifting Lanes, we are, at the end of the day, a business. We were killing it with that Volvo. We needed a proof of concept to figure out if we needed Volvo Slay on our channel.
Right.
So we need to kind of figure out, if we got another Volvo, would that increase views? So that's the reason I bought this car. It absolutely got views. It absolutely did the job. So that's, in turn, I was sad to see the Lexus go. That was the first car I bought with my own money. That was the first car I really, like.
It's a cool car.
It's a fun car. I love that thing so much, and eventually I'll be getting another one. But to answer your question, am I happy with this purchase? Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because the craziest thing is, apart from the M3, which, when it worked, was the most powerful car I ever owned. Yeah. But as far as the length of time I've owned it with the mods and everything like this, this is one of the most powerful cars I've ever like owned and driven daily.
Right.
I love the platform. I love the way it handles. I love the styling. I had to get a Volvo. This is my favorite Volvo. I remember wanting these back when I had my Focus and everything. So I'm not disappointed. I'm really happy with like the scalability on the mods and everything like that. I wish the stock motor was a little bit stronger. Again, I come from the JDM world of the late 90s, early 2000s, where they built those engines to survive a nuclear explosion.
Right.
It's a little bit different now.
I can see that you like the car because you're wearing the hoodie of the car. Yeah. You're wearing the shirt of the band you're going to see. Gutter, don't be that guy.
Yeah, well,
but it's
I mean,
awesome. We have really cool stuff on sale.
We have, speaking of the sweatshirt I'm wearing, we have a whole mess of new shirts in our Teespring account. Not that this was the most seamless of segues, but we have a ton of new swag. If you haven't checked it out already, go there. We have the C30, we have the V70R, and if you're so inclined, we have the S60R. We also have Shifting Lanes branded gear. We have a whole mess of really awesome...
The S60R is selling the best.
What?
Yeah, it's weird. Don't pay any attention to that. Just buy our stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this or an S60R? This is faster. Faster! Anywho, the long and short of it is, these shirts are awesome, and it's a really great way for you guys to go ahead and support the channel.
Yep.
You get something awesome out of it, and we get some cash to make our cars even better. Even though this is the best, I can still make it better.
Totally. You can always make a car better. And stay tuned for more Volvo inspired designs in the coming months. We're seeing how these do, and if you guys like them and buy enough of them, we're going to recycle some of that money and maybe get some more designs going on.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe not just our cars, maybe some cool other Volvo stuff. So stay tuned for that coming soon.
And I think that's it. Anything else you want to add?
No, very surprised, like the car a lot, but I think in the spring, when everything is sorted with both these cars, you're going to find that the V70R is absolutely going to trounce you and Hanson all over the place, and you will then be bowing and worshiping the white block gods.
I'm going to end it with this. You're going to be seeing a lot of this thing's taillights when we go to the Dragon.
No.
Yeah.
Well, probably yes, because there's no passing. But that's it.
But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you guys want to find us out on social media, it's at Shifting Lanes. I'm at Chennedy83.
I'm at Real Gregson M, and you can also find Hanson at Mr. Hanson Luckman.
I mean, if you want.
Yeah.
But at any rate, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Have a good one.
See ya.